Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kendall Ty, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how I make my crochet ruffle hats. Starting off with supplies, you're going to need your yarn of choice. Today I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes in the color Latte Stripe, and this is a size medium weight 4 yarn. I'm going to be using a size 4.5mm hook. You're going to need some scissors at the end of the project, and you can also have some stitch markers on hand, but these are optional. So just a quick overview of the pattern for this hat. We're going to be chaining 10 into the magic circle, and we're going to do a total of 7 rows for the crown. Then we're going to do 7 rows for the body of the hat, a decrease row, and then 2 rows for the brim. I'm also going to be showing you guys how I crochet the seam of my hat so that there's no obvious gaps or holes. To start off the first row, we're going to do a magic circle, and the way I like to do mine is I grab the tail of the yarn with my left thumb and index finger. I use my right hand to wrap the yarn over my index and middle finger. I'm going to go under, and as I bring it back over, I'm going to make an X. Then I'm going to hold it with my ring finger and my pinky. Next, I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to go in between my 2 fingers, but I'm going to angle the hook down. I'm going to go under this first string on the right, over the left string, and I'm going to pull it, and as I'm pulling, I'm going to turn my hook upwards. Then I'm going to take my fingers out of the magic circle and just hold it with my right thumb and index finger. And next we're going to chain 2. Now you're going to do 10 double crochet into the magic circle, and the way you do that is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One more time, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the circle, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do that 8 more times. Next, just double check that you have 10 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's not including the chain 2. Then you're going to pull the tail of the yarn to close the circle. To close the first row, we're going to insert our hook into that second chain 2 that we made in the beginning. Make sure you get both loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and do a slip stitch. So pull through and then pull through again. Moving on to the second row, we're going to chain 2, but we're going to bring the tail of the yarn to the front of the project so that we can crochet over it. And 1, 2. Make sure that the second chain from the hook is a little bit looser, just so that when you get back to the end of the row and have to close it with a slip stitch, it's going to be easier. Moving on to the second row is where we're going to start doing our special seam. As you can see in this hat, we have the first row with our 10 double crochet, then we have our second row, but we're going to insert 2 double crochet at the beginning and end of the row. Feel free to just watch first and then follow along after. Next, we're going to insert a double crochet into the same stitch where we did the slip stitch from the previous row. So let me take this out real quick and just show you guys. So if I go back to the end of the first row, I'm going to do a slip stitch into this second chain that we did at the beginning. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and then pull through again. And then right where we just inserted that slip stitch is where we're going to do the double crochet at the beginning of the second row. So once again, I'm going to pull the tail to the front so I can crochet over it. I'm going to do my chain 2, making sure that the second one is a bit loose. And then I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to insert my hook into the space right where you see where my nail is. So after I yarn over, I'm going to insert into that space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to show you guys one more time just in case it was a bit confusing. After I did my chain 2, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to insert my hook into the same space where this slip stitch is right here. I went ahead and inserted a stitch marker so y'all can see exactly where I'm talking about, but this is the same space where this last slip stitch was in the last row. So next I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook into that space. It might be a little tough to get your hook through, so that's why it's important to make the second chain a little bit looser. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to go ahead and take the stitch marker out, and I'm actually going to move it to the end of the row because that's where we're going to insert the double crochet once we get to the end. And that stitch marker is going to go right here in between the 10th stitch and the first chain. So if you can see that little space where my nail is, I'm going to insert the stitch marker right there. Once again, using stitch markers is optional. I'm not going to do it for the whole project, but definitely in the beginning, just so that I can help with any confusion. So as we continue the second row, we're going to do 2 double crochet into every double crochet until we get back to this stitch marker. And as I'm doing those stitches, I'm going to crochet over the tail. So 1, 2, and those are in the same stitch. And you're going to do that all the way around. 1, 2, 1, 2. And once you feel like you've covered enough of the tail, you can go ahead and cut it. 1, 2. And the last 2, 1, 2. Next, you're going to want to count and make sure that you have 20 main stitches, not including this first double crochet we did. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Next, we're going to insert a double crochet into the space where this stitch marker is. We can go ahead and take out the stitch marker. And then we're going to close off the row the same way we did the first time with the slip stitch into this second chain. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then you can go ahead and place your stitch marker in the same place where we just did that slip stitch. Once again, the stitch marker is optional, so if you're able to locate where that space is where the slip stitch was, then you don't have to insert one. Next, I'm going to chain 2, and remember to make the second chain a little bit looser. Then I'm going to insert a double crochet into where this stitch marker is, but I'm not going to complete the double crochet. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and you're going to stop right there and take out your stitch marker. And then you're going to yarn over again, and you're going to insert your hook into this double crochet from the previous row. You're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So the reason why I do my seams like this is because when I used to just chain 2 and then do a double crochet into the next stitch, there would oftentimes be like a hole or a small gap. And so this way I'm able to close that up by inserting another stitch, but I don't increase the stitch count because we do a decrease. I hope I'm not over explaining, but this is what it's going to look like. Right here we have the 2 double crochet, but it's only 1 stitch, so it's not going to increase the count of how many stitches you have. And before we move on to the rest of the third row, I'm going to go ahead and insert that stitch marker into where we're going to need it at the end. So I'm going to kind of pull my project a little bit so I can see that space. That space is in between the last double crochet and the first chain. And this is what it looks like from the top of the stitches. We have the last double crochet right here. We have the first chain right here. And we're going to insert the stitch marker in between. So moving on to the rest of the third row, we're going to do a pattern of 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. 1, 2, and that third double crochet is going to be in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3. You're going to want to count to make sure that you have 30 double crochet in this row, not including the seam. So that would be starting right here. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Next, I'm going to go ahead and insert a double crochet into the one from the previous row, but I'm not going to complete it. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to yarn over again, and I'm going to insert my hook into the space where the stitch marker is. And once again, that's in between this double crochet and this chain 1. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. I'm going to take out the stitch marker, and we're going to go ahead and close off the row like normal. Insert your hook into these 2 loops, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through again. And you can go ahead and insert your stitch marker into where you just did that slip stitch. So what we just did for the last row, we're going to repeat it for 4 more rows. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 2. Remember to make sure that the second chain is a little bit looser. Yarn over, insert my hook into the space in between this double crochet and this chain, which is where the stitch marker is. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. We can go ahead and move the stitch marker. And I'm going to finish the double crochet into this decreased stitch from the last row. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You should have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Then you can go ahead and insert your stitch marker at the end of the row, which is going to be in between this decreased stitch and this first chain. So right here where my nail is, I'm going to go ahead and put the stitch marker. As we're doing the increased rows for the top of this hat, the number row that we're on is going to tell you how many stitches are in each grouping. So for the second row, we had 2 double crochet in each stitch. For the third row, we had 3 double crochets in this grouping. And now that we're at the 4th row, we're going to have 4 double crochet in this grouping. And that basically means that you're going to increase every 4th stitch. So the pattern is going to be 1, 2, and then the 3rd and 4th double crochet are going to go into the same stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do those first 2 double crochet. 1, 2, and then the 3rd and 4th double crochet are going to go into the same stitch. 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a way to know when it's time for you to increase is when you see the 2 double crochet in the same stitch from the previous row, which kind of creates this V, you're going to do a double crochet in the left stitch. So now you're going to continue this pattern until you do your last increase for the row. Alright, so I just did my last increase. I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook into the decreased stitch from the previous row. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, and I'm going to insert my hook into where the stitch marker is, which is in between the decreased stitch and the chain 1 that we did at the beginning of the row. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 3. I'm going to go ahead and take out the stitch marker, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into the second chain that we did at the beginning. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through again. So this is going to be the last row that I use the stitch marker. I'm going to go ahead and insert it into where I just did that slip stitch. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook into where the stitch marker is. If you're not using a stitch marker, that's in between the first chain and this decreased stitch. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. You're going to take the stitch marker out, yarn over and insert your hook into that decreased stitch from the previous row, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 3. I'm going to go ahead and put the stitch marker into the space at the end of the row in between this decreased stitch and the chain 1. Just in case you can't tell where I'm pointing, is right here where my nail is. And we're going to continue on with row 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that 5th double crochet is going to be in the same stitch. One more time, we're going to increase every 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that 5th double crochet is going to go into the same stitch. And we're going to do that all the way until we get to our last increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just did my last increase for this row. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that decreased stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, and I'm going to insert my hook into where the stitch marker is, which is in between the decreased stitch and the chain 1 from the beginning of the row. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and close off the row by doing a slip stitch into the second chain that we did at the beginning. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through again. And as you're working the top of this hat, feel free to flatten it out as you go, just to make sure that it's increasing correctly. You should have a total of 50 stitches in this row, not including the seam. For the last 2 rows for the top of this hat, I'm not going to use a stitch marker, but if you are, you would go ahead and insert it into where we just did the slip stitch. You're going to go ahead and chain 2, yarn over, insert your hook into that space in between the first chain and the decrease stitch from the previous row, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into that decrease stitch from the last row, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Then we're going to go ahead and increase every 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that 6 double crochet is going to go into the same stitch. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is going to go into that same stitch. And we're going to continue this all the way around until we get to the last increase. So I just did the last increase for the 6th row. I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook into the decrease stitch from the previous row. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm going to insert my hook into the space in between the decrease row and the first chain that we did at the beginning. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into the second chain from the beginning of the row. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 1. And I'm going to flatten it out. And at this point, you should have a total of 60 main stitches, not including the seam. Moving on to the last row for the top of the hat, I'm going to chain 2, yarn over, insert my hook into the space where we just did that previous slip stitch. That's going to be in between the chain 1 and the decrease stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and I'm going to insert my hook into the decrease stitch from the previous row. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Now for row 7, I'm going to increase every 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that 7th double crochet is going to go into the same stitch. 7. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and double crochet 6 and 7 are going to go into the same stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and finish out this row until I get to the last increase. So I just did the last increase for the 7th row. I'm going to go ahead and yarn over and insert my hook into the decrease row from the previous stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert my hook into that space in between the decrease stitch and the chain 1 from the beginning. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into that second chain that we did at the beginning. Yarn over, pull through, and then pull through again. So now we're finished with the top of the hat. You should have a total of 70 main stitches, not including the seam. And the number of stitches that you have will determine how big your hat is. So right now, since I have 7 rows, I have 70 stitches. If I were to go up to an 8th row, I would have 80 stitches. Or if I were to stop at maybe 6 or 5, I would have 50 or 60 stitches. And if you find that having 80 stitches is too much or having 60 is not enough, what you can do is kind of go in between sizes. And instead of increasing every time you see an increase in the previous row, you would skip the first one and then increase into the second stitch. So for example, if I wanted to have only 75 stitches in my next row instead of 80, I would do a regular double crochet into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I would just do 7 right here. I wouldn't increase. I would keep going 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then I would increase 14 and 15 in the same stitch. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, just let me know down in the comments. So moving on to the 8th row, we're going to do the same thing for the seam. Chain 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the space where we did the previous slip stitch, which is in between that first chain and that decrease row. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the decrease stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 3. And we're going to do the same exact thing for the seam for the rest of the hat. So now that we're done with the increased stitches in the crown of the hat, we're just going to move on to the body of the hat, and we're just going to do a double crochet all the way around into every stitch with no increasing. Alright, so I'm at the end of the row. Remember, we're not going to do any increase. I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook into the decreased stitch from the previous row, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and I'm going to insert my hook into the space in between the decreased stitch and that first chain at the beginning, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 3. And I'm going to go ahead and close up the row just like normal with the slip stitch, pull through, and you should still have a total of 70 stitches in your row, not including the seam. And at this point, your hat should look a little bit like this, and as we continue with the body of the hat, it's going to start to create that bowl shape. So next we're going to do the exact same thing that we just did 6 more times for a total of 7 rows with no increases. So if I'm looking at this hat, I'm going to count how many rows I did with increases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For the body of the hat, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So far, I've done 4 rows with no increases, and I just wanted to check in really quickly. I wanted to show y'all what it looks like for me to do my seam method in real time and what your stitches should look like at this point. So as you're looking at the seam, you should see a stitch coming from where we did that slip stitch and then another stitch right next to it. And that's the same thing for the end of the row. And at this point, your hat should be starting to make a bowl shape, and this is what it looks like flattened. So I'm going to go ahead and do the last 3 rows and then I'll be back. So I just finished my 7th row, and you should have 7 rows at the top of the hat and then 7 rows for the body of the hat for a total of 14. And you should still have 70 stitches in the row. At this point, your hat should start to make a bowl shape, and if you'd like, you can go ahead and try it on. You don't have to do 7 rows for the body of the hat. If that's too long or if it's not enough, you can add more, but keep in mind that the brim and the ruffles is going to add some length. So next we're going to go ahead and move on to this decrease row, and the reason why we do a decrease is because when we do the ruffles, we're going to be crocheting multiple stitches into one stitch, and that's going to cause the hat to loosen up a bit. So we do a decrease row first just so that it's not too big. So I'm going to start off the decrease row just like I did every other row. I'm going to chain 2, yarn over, insert my hook into the space where the slip stitch was, which is in between that decrease stitch and that chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert my hook into the decrease stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 3. So for this row, I'm going to do a pattern of decrease stitch, regular stitch, decrease stitch, regular stitch. And when I say decrease, that means I'm going to be combining these 2 stitches. So I'm not going to yarn over, and I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into that first double crochet, yarn over and pull through. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the second double crochet, yarn over and pull through. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So basically we're doing a double crochet, but we're combining these 2 stitches in the process. Next, I'm going to do a regular double crochet into this stitch, and then I'm going to do another decrease. Insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then I'm going to do a regular double crochet, and then another decrease. And I'm going to continue this pattern all the way around. Regular double crochet, decrease, insert my hook, pull through, insert my hook, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I'm down to the last 4 stitches, not including the seam, and I'm going to go ahead and combine these 2 stitches and then combine these 2. And then I'm going to finish off the row like normal. Yarn over, insert my hook into this decrease stitch, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, insert my hook into the stitch in between the decrease stitch and the chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And then I'm going to close up the row, yarn over and pull through with the slip stitch. So this is how your hat should look right now. It should look like a bowl, and then it starts to come in a little bit, and then once we add the ruffles, it's going to stretch back out. Moving on to the brim, for the rest of the hat, we're going to be doing the treble crochet stitch, also known as the triple crochet. So we're going to start by doing 3 chains instead of 2. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to be doing the same concept for the seam, except we're just going to add one more step. So we're going to yarn over twice, insert our hook into the space where the slip stitch was, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert our hook into the decreased stitch from the last row, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So for this part of the brim, we are going to include the seam, and I forgot to mention that after you do the decrease row, you should have a total of 48 stitches going all the way around, including the seam. So next we're going to start by doing 4 treble crochet into each stitch. And since we just finished off the seam and there's already 1 stitch right here, we're going to do 3 more. So yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do 2 more into this stitch. Yarn over twice, insert your hook, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. And then we're going to do 4 more into the next stitch. Three, 4. 4 more into the next stitch. 2, 3, 4. And we're going to continue the same thing all the way around until the end. The amount of treble crochet that you do into each stitch will determine how ruffly your brim is, for lack of better terms. So if you want your ruffles to be very extreme, you can do more than 4 into each stitch. And if you want the brim to be a little bit more flowy and less extreme, you can do less treble crochet into each stitch. So I'm down to the last stitch of this row. I'm going to go ahead and do 3 treble crochet like normal. 1, 2, 3. And then for the 4th one, we're going to close out the row like we did previously. I'm going to yarn over twice, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then I'm going to yarn over again and insert my hook into the space in between the decrease stitch and this chain. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 2. Then I'm going to find that 3rd chain that we did in the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to insert my hook and do a slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through, and then pull through. Then I'm going to go ahead and chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over twice. I'm going to insert my hook into this space where we just did the slip stitch from the last row. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the top of this stitch from the previous row. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 2. So now for the 2nd row of the brim, instead of doing 4 treble crochet into each stitch, we're just going to do 2. So I already have 1 in this stitch. I'm going to do 1 more. And then I'm going to do 2 into every stitch all the way around. All right, so I'm on the last stitch of the last row. I'm going to go ahead and do the first treble crochet as normal. And then for the last treble crochet, I'm going to yarn over twice, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to yarn over again and insert my hook into the space in between the stitch and the chain from the beginning. yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Then I'm going to insert my hook into that third chain from the beginning and do a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to grab my scissors and cut the yarn. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull through and tighten. And from here we can go ahead and sew in the end. I like to use my crochet hook, but you can use a smaller hook or a yarn needle. I'm just going to insert my hook into the space where we did that slip stitch. I'm going to pull the yarn through. Then I'm going to feed it back through this space right here and pull it through. And then I'm going to feed it through the space where we did the slip stitch in the previous row. I'm going to pull it through again. And then I'm going to pull it back through one more time. And then I'm going to turn to the inside of the brim. And then I'm just going to feed my hook through the bottom of these stitches. Right now I actually have a lot of loops on my hook, but you don't have to do that many at once. But I'm just going to go ahead and loop the tail over the hook and then pull through. And then I'm going to pull on the brim and that'll bring the tail back through. And you can cut the end if you like as well. I'm going to go ahead and cut it a little bit shorter. And now for the final step, I'm just going to go ahead and fix the ruffles to my liking. And that's how I make my crochet ruffle hat. I really love these hats because you can customize it to your liking. You can change the sizing as much as you need to. Like I said before, I did do 7 rows for the crown of the hat, but you can do more or less depending on the size. And that also applies to the body of the hat for this part, as well as the way you do your ruffles. You can do more treble crochet into each stitch. You can add more rows to the brim if you'd like. You can do double crochet instead of treble crochet. These hats are honestly very customizable, and that's one reason why I really love them. That's going to be the end of today's tutorial. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions about anything, if I can help or if I can clarify, just let me know. If you like to purchase anything from my Etsy, the link is in the description box along with my socials. Make sure you guys follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm going to be uploading more tutorials very soon, so make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!